Okay, let's be real. You're busy, I'm busy, we all want to soak up the wisdom from the best books out there, but seriously, who has the time to read them all? So, what if you could pull the most important lessons from over 20 of the most life-changing books ever written and get it all in one place? Well, that's exactly what we're about to do.
Because here's the secret. It's not just about reading more books. It's about connecting the biggest ideas into a framework, a system that you can actually use in your own life. We're talking about a huge collection of wisdom that, when you see how it all fits together, offers something incredibly powerful.
And look, this isn't just some random list we pulled off the internet. Bestselling author Mark Manson actually went through his own personal library, the books that really fundamentally shifted how he thinks and works, and he boiled each one down to its absolute essence. And when you lay them all out together, something amazing happens. A pattern starts to emerge. This isn't just a book club list. It's a blueprint. It's a guide to building your very own life operating system, a set of principles to help you navigate your inner world, build your outer world, and make sense of the complex reality we're all swimming in. So let's start right where all true change has to begin, inside your own mind. Part 1 is all about forging mental toughness and developing some radical self-awareness. I want you to look at this number, 40%. According to David Goggins, the author of Can't Hurt Me, this is the exact point where your brain starts screaming at you. It's telling you to quit, to stop, to just give up. You know that moment when you hit the wall and you think, that's it, I'm done? But here's the mind-blowing part of Goggins's message. When your brain tells you you're at 100%, that you're totally maxed out, you've only actually used about 40% of your real capacity. You've got a whole 60% left in the tank. And this isn't just about running marathons. It's about realizing that your mind's stop signs are often just an illusion. It's a powerful tool, sure, but it's not always telling you the truth. You know, this whole idea of mastering your own mind, it's not new. About 2,000 years ago, the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius was basically writing about the very same thing. This quote from his personal journal, Meditations, just nails the heart of Stoicism. Stop wasting energy on what you can't control, which is most things, and focus all your power on mastering your response to those things. That's where your real strength is. So how do you actually manage this battle going on inside your head? Well, Jonathan Haidt, in The Happiness Hypothesis, gives us this amazing metaphor. He says your mind is made of two parts. The writer, that's your logical, rational, planning self. And then there's the elephant, that's your powerful, emotional, intuitive self. And here's the catch. The tiny writer can't just force the massive elephant to do anything. The real secret is to train the writer to guide the elephant, to work with it, not against it.
Okay, so you're working on strengthening that inner writer. Now it's time to actually go out and build something in the real world. And lesson number 1 is this. The real world could not care less about your perfect 5-step plan. It is messy, it's unpredictable, and it is almost never a straight line.
Just ask Phil Knight, the guy who created Nike. His memoir, Shoe Dog, is basically a Bible of glorious chaos. For years, Nike was always one bad day away from going bankrupt. He was juggling lawsuits, begging for loans, all while working as an accountant on the side just to pay the bills. It's such a powerful reminder that success isn't some clean equation. It's about grit, it's about endurance, and yeah, acknowledging the massive role of just plain dumb luck. And this messiness, it is especially true when you're trying to create something new. The author Anne Lamott, in her book Bird by Bird, gives us this concept that is just so liberating and kind of hilarious: shitty first drafts, or SFDs. Her point is that every great novel, every brilliant piece of art, every amazing project, it all starts out as a complete and total mess. That awkward, cringy beginning isn't a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that you've actually started. Which perfectly captures the emotional truth of trying to make anything, right? In Big Magic, Elizabeth Gilbert says that creativity has nothing to do with getting rid of your fear. It's about feeling that fear, the fear of sucking, the fear of being unoriginal, the fear that nobody will care, and doing the work anyway. Bravery isn't about not being scared, it's about being terrified and still showing up. All right, let's zoom out. We've looked inside ourselves, we've looked at our own creative work, but how do we deal with the giant, complex systems that we all have to live inside of? We're talking about everything from our relationships to the invisible rules of society. Let's start with the most intimate system of all, our relationships. In her book, Mating in Captivity, the therapist Esther Perel points out this incredible paradox. See, love and desire aren't the same thing. In fact, they often feed on totally opposite things. Love craves security, closeness, and knowing everything about a person. But desire? Desire is fueled by mystery, risk, and a little bit of distance. The real art of a lasting, passionate relationship is learning how to keep both of these opposing forces in balance. So from our most intimate systems to the most massive ones, have you ever felt completely trapped by some ridiculous bureaucracy? You know, like when you're at the DMV and you have to wait in one line just to get a ticket so you can go wait in another line? Well, there's a word for that feeling: Kafkaesque. It comes from Franz Kafka's novel, The Trial, which is about a man who's arrested but can never, ever find out what he's been accused of. It's the perfect word for that feeling of being stuck in a giant, absurd system that makes absolutely no sense. So, how do you deal with these systems without losing your mind? Don Alamedo's book, Thinking in Systems, basically gives you X-ray vision. Instead of just blaming the people in the system, you start to see the hidden structures underneath that are actually causing their behavior. Your job is a system. Your family is a system. And here's the most important takeaway. If you really want to change things, just swapping out the people usually doesn't work. You have to find the key leverage points to change the system itself. So, we've gone on this big journey, right? From our own inner thoughts to the messy outer world and all the way out to the huge systems around us. So, how do we pull this all together into that personal operating system we talked about at the beginning? This one line is really the core idea from Ray Dalio, the founder of the world's biggest hedge fund. In his book, Principles, he makes this powerful argument that every single thing that happens to you, every failure, every success, is a learning opportunity. Your job isn't just to get through life, it's to stop and extract a principle from every experience. And he gives us this beautifully simple 5-step loop to do it. First, you figure out exactly what you want. Then, you identify the problems that are getting in your way. Third, you design a plan to get around them. Fourth, you execute that plan. But here's the magic, the step that almost everyone skips, number 5. You have to reflect on what happened, good or bad, and then extract a principle from it. This is how you turn every experience into a lesson, building your personal rulebook one principle at a time. And that really brings us to the final, most important point of all of this. The wisdom in these 22 books, it gives you the tools, the raw materials, the blueprints, but they cannot build the house for you. The goal here is not to perfectly copy the life of a Roman emperor or a startup founder. It's to take all these ideas and become the architect of your own life, one that you build on purpose. So after all that, there's really only one question left, and it's the one you have to answer for yourself. When you look at your own goals, your own struggles, and your own wins, what's the first principle you're going to write down for your own operating system?